and welcome back to Austin Talks, where today we are talking about the Mandalorian Season 3 review. And now this has to be one of my quickest reviews, as it did just end last week, but here we are doing a review on it. So this is I'm not going to really sell it much, but we're just going to get right into it. Right. So the first thing we see when we're introduced to the season is the Mandalorian baptism. Now, this being the opening scene to the overall series was great because it actually shows the culture of a Mandalorian, like how they get their suits and how they get their what do you call it? Helmets. Also, what caught my attention was the fact that when the helmet was placed on the boy's head, so the boy that's feet is in the water is the person who is getting the Mandalorian baptism. Now, the ceiling when they were placing the helmet on the boy's head, they actually had the same sealing noise as the Darth Vader mask did in Revenge of the Sith. Now, the scene also shows that Din Djarin had to go through the same thing, but also, not everyone else that has their Mandalorian helmet, but this, the fact that Mandalorian took his off is obviously not very fitting for the Mandalorian culture, as I might say. And I really do like this scene because I thought it was actually quite cool. I mean, you could see multiple flags of multiple factions, so yeah, I did think it was quite cool. Now, the hyperspace whale Easter egg. Now, not a lot of people noticed this. I actually, my friend just pointed this out to me. Now, for those who don't know, when Yoda and Mando are, Baby Yoda and Mando are seen in hyperspace, we see these whales on the outside of the hyperspace drive, and these are called Purrgil. Now, these were only last seen in Star Wars Rebels when Thrawn and Ezra go missing. So Thrawn was captured by by these tentacles, and this is the last time we see Thrawn and Ezra. Now, this is actually an Easter egg to the Ahsoka series soon coming, as it will revolve around Ezra and Thrawn. And this is actually just a little Easter egg to this. As this is soon. This was just around the time that we got all the news for the Ahsoka series. Now, Greef Karga's return. Now, to be honest, I've never really been a fan of this character. He was his return is nostalgic from the first episode, which is the greatest episode of all time. But in this show, he was seen in one episode, and then he went well. He wasn't seen in one episode, but he was seen in multiple. But he just really had a minor role. We saw him he gave Grogu he gave Grogu the tech thing where it goes no, yes, no, yeah. But yeah, we barely see him, but he's not a big character, I can say, but the one thing is his robes are phenomenal. I like his robes, yeah, and the necklace looks like the thing from Mortal Kombat for Shinnok. Well, that was quite cool. Now, the pirate guys. These characters are real street guys, and this is the tone that always needs to be set for the for this, because for both this series and Book of Boba Fett. The scene was like a cowboy gunslinger, as we see between Greef Karga and then the guy closer to the right, and I think this is great, and also that green guy, whoo god, it brings back old times from the first season, when they were using guns, and it was only gunslingers, and overall the introduction made the series begin on a high, and it mainly landed on a higher. Yeah, that Pirate King, I want to know what species that is, because goddamn, you need a flipping shave, mate. It's the worst thing since we had Dave, the guy from Pirates of the Caribbean, Dave Crocodile thingy, yeah. But, yeah, I like these characters, and they also bring you back to the first, what are they called? they also bring you back to the like Clone Wars, so that's real nostalgic as well. Right. The Babu freaking Grogu bonding. Throughout this whole season, I was laughing my head out at these two, and like they're actually so cute together. Like, Babu Frick is like, "What the hell are you doing?" And then Baby Yoda's like, "Duh, duh." It's so funny. The hugging scene was absolutely hilarious when Babu sees Yoda. And when Babu sees Yoda again at the end, he's like, "Bad baby, bad baby." Honestly, it's actually hilarious. I mean, Grogu's a nice being. He's nice. But like that baby, Babu Frick's just like, "Well, what is wrong with this thing? Get it off me." You can't not laugh at this. It is actually funny, and I don't know if my brother's seen this series yet, but I need to show him this, or maybe I'm hoping he watches the video. But no, still, it's funny. It is real funny. Now, Bo-Katan's return. Now, whenever I see her, I always think of like the Clone Wars, because that's when like we were back in Mandalore, and this like brings back nostalgia. And I actually think that's majority of the reason they brought back brought Mandalorian. It is like, as much as it's its own series, it's more gritty, it's more dark, but it also brings back nostalgic things like Bo-Katan, and she is like we never really had much for the Mandalorians. Now, she is a character who isn't afraid to get her hands dirty with the Empire, and I think she'd be a good ruler for Mando. But the Darksaber does belong to Din Djarin, and believe it or not, she will be coming back in a new series I found out just today called Rangers of the New Republic. Yes. Oh, and FYI, everyone, there is a May the 4th celebration video coming out. That was my excuse to get a lot of news and things covered. So yeah, just a warning for that. It'll come out obviously on May the 4th. So look out for that. Now, the Mines of Mandalore. Ooh. This episode really intrigued me, and I really liked this episode as well. The mythos was a big reveal and symbolizing the Mandalorians, especially with the posters. It looks cool. I mean, the picture is terrifying. It's just an eye, and it's the episode overall shows the underlining of what Mandalore was, and I mean, let's be real. The Mandalore is nothing compared to the Mandalore we saw in Clone Wars, and this is cool because it represents the tone of the series that is based. I mean, the Mines of Mandalore is it's cool, it's nostalgic because you can see some of the architecture if you put it next to each other from the first series, from Clone Wars. But the Mythosaur is like, it's a good representative creature for what actually Mandalorian is, because it is the symbol for the that's why it's called the Mythosaur, because it's a myth. But yeah, and there's a load of posters around of the Mythosaur, and it looks big, and I don't want to be fighting that thing. Oh God, no. I mean, I honestly say it's more scary than a dinosaur. I don't even think that was possible. Right. Jack Black and the Lizzo cameos. Oi. I mean, they're cameos at the end of the day. But although they were actual characters, I do think they were just like, they are memes. I mean, still struggling to say his name. Captain Bombardier. Yeah, that guy who is played by Jack Black. And then the Duchess, who is played by Lizzo. The costumes are great, but it is hard to see Captain Bombardier as a captain after watching Super Mario Bros. I mean, yeah, that was a good movie, but like, if you can't look at them the same when he's just been going peaches, like it's funny, but you can also see the Imperial markings on his belt, which is obviously an indication he was working for the Empire. But yeah, the Duchess is yeah, enough said about her. Right, all the OG comebacks. I'm not actually gonna say a lot, but I'm just gonna let the images do the talking. So I'll break them all down. I mean, the list here, I'm not even gonna go break them down. I'll just So IG-11, we saw him from the first series, and now he was brought back to life as a more stupid version than the first, and he was brought back in the control of what's his name. Grogu, that's the one. How did I forget that name? Then Pelimoto, which is the girl who has like been taking care of like the Grogu majority of the time, but she's like she's a car mechanic. I do like her character, she's quite funny. Then we have Dr. Pershing, who we saw in the last season and the like first season. But we would now introduce to Project Necromancer, which, believe it or not, was actually, or for those who do know, it was something to do with the Palpatine plan and the Snoke clones. And then we have Kelleran Beck, which is the person with the green lightsaber. He used to be an old Jedi Master who was seen in Episode 4, which I think was cool. And then we had Zeb Orrelios, who was from Rebels, and I think they've actually nailed the live action. That CGI is great, and it's also like, obviously, like, Rebels is so underrated, but it is a really good show. It's so underrated, and Zeb is one of my favorite characters. I do like Zeb, and he's got one-liners as well. Now, Moff Gideon's return and his Force-sensitive clones. Hey, now in the series, this is my favorite character. I have my overall favorite character of the Star Wars is Ahsoka. I'm just saying it. Now, he is one of the best villains in Star Wars universe, and his new suit and stuff is just is amazing. Also, they've really amped up his intentions with his cloning, and then with the and from this he will never die. I mean, we saw his death at the end where he got burnt, but obviously he ain't dead, mate. He ain't dead, and I do like it that way. I don't want him to die. He is one of the characters who deserves a good arc. Maybe kill him off just before like we get Kylo Ren, but he is a better villain than Kylo Ren. Okay, I'm just saying. He was just like, oh, Mommy, I want your approval. Well, if you're a Sith, I ain't gonna give you approval. That was Kylo Ren for you. And then he just wanted to live up to his grandfather for some weird reason. I'm kidding, he's a great character. But yeah, Moff Gideon's so much better. Now, the new First Order armor. Yes, this is the first edition of the First Order armor that we see, because remember, we are in that phase of the time now that is what we are. Now in this series we are introduced to the first edition of the First Order armor, and I do think it looks great. It looks more like the Fire Brigade ones. We also learned that this is made from Beskar. His suit is new basic Beskar alloy, somewhat of it, and the red accents in grey they are great. That's what reminds me of if you had the red First Order, then you have these. It looks cool, and the armor was great, but the soldier underneath was just so stupid. They're not good soldiers. I mean, I know I'm saying this, but like, they're not smart. Oh my god, excuse me. They are not smart. It's just the truth, isn't it? Now, Mandalorian history. Honestly, I know the Jedi Temple, they probably take history lessons, but the Mandalorian history must just be a subject in itself. In the Jedi Temple, they probably there's stuff like, say for example, what I'm learning, you can have the Vietnam conflict, and then you can have just history. Mandalorian history is a subject on its own. If you're choosing a GCSE, it's either history or Mandalorian history. There's so much to uncover, and there is so much backstory in that. It's probably constantly. This is why they constantly carry on with the series. I'm not actually sure if season 4 will be the last, but I'm certain it probably will. I mean, from the Mythosaurs, the baptism. I would take that class in a heartbeat. I don't want to meet a mythosaur. I just don't. Just don't take me. Like, I mean, I know people do school trips. I mean, I'm going to San Francisco, which I probably will not be uploading that week, like at all. But no, oh my god, I would definitely not. No, don't want to meet that thing. Now, Paz Vizsla's death, even after trouble that this guy caused Mando with the Darksaber in the beginning. I think it was like the fight at the the Book of Boba Fett. Yeah, his death was honorable, and he's like, cause he's got Vizsla, you'd think he's a bad character due to like his past history with Death Watch and all that. But it was an honorable because Mandalorian was the most respected group in the galaxy. They are, and this guy was this was one of the most respected people in there. And to be honest, he never had a chance against 3 Praetorian guards. Like, it was like Grievous, and then like these are the real experienced First Order, and this is like how you know it's First Order, because these are seen in what's it called, The Last Jedi. Yeah, but Paz Vizsla died a hero. I didn't like him much, but like if you look at his backstory, he's a good character. He has a good character arc as well. Now, who is the Armorer? Now, I have a theory, and it is pretty valid too. Now, right, Moff Gideon wore a mask at the end, and it looks similar to the Maul Death Watch mask, and like with the horns and all that. And at the time, Darth Maul was recruiting Kira or whatever. And the mask of the Armorer is similar to Moff Gideon, and she would have been a member of the Death Watch, or the Maul Death Watch. And also, I'm pretty sure she was the spy that leaked info to Gideon. Yeah, I do think this is actually quite valid. I do think she could be Kira, but I don't think we'll actually ever know. This is just a theory, and I don't think it'll ever be proven. But if we are ever on Master the Armorer, I'm gonna beg it's Kira. Now, the final battles. I'll just say, Moff Gideon is a hard opponent. It took 3 people to kill him. That's why I say kill him. And they were all great. He was like Grievous, Vader, and Phasma enrolled into one character. He is hard. He is a hard character. He's a pretty decent one as well. He actually scares me, and I hope it won't be the last that we see of this character. And like I have just a hope for a Mandalorian season 4, and I'll get onto that in the May the 4th video as well. Also, Bo-Katan is an honorable fighter. She and Mando are like they're not the ones to give up, and they want to fight for Mandalore. I mean, Din Djarin was basically just a character who wanted to get away from it, but now he's like, I'm just gonna stand my ground, lad. And yeah, it's cool. I mean, I would fight for, obviously, for like, say if there was a species called an Earthian on Mandalore, I would fight for it. Yeah, but just yeah, for some reason, yeah. But the thing is, like, Mandalore is such a place. It is a place that has it's not savable. They're just looking for something to save. If they wanna, they can make it a big bad place, but it's not a place that can be saved. I know what they would obviously want to think it can be, but it can't. It just can't. Just accept it. Now, my series rating is 9 out of 10, and I'm not changing it. Right. This series has been the best, and somehow people are saying it was the worst season. But people have their opinions. I don't know how that's possible though. It's Black Adam all over again. If only there was a collab between Ahsoka and Mando, then it would be a 10. I mean, this series, I loved it. I loved it. And so Ahsoka cannot come sooner. I do want to see that show. I will have obviously videos on it. But if they leave that series on a cliffhanger, I swear to God, Yeah, but like honestly, I'm rooting for that series. I really want to see it. But yeah, but I stand by what I say. I mean, it's an automatic fun when you have Grogu in it. So, yeah. Now, all the links to to Ahsoka and Jedi Survivor. You can definitely see I wrote Ahsoka right when it's AHSOKA and I wrote SHOK. Yep. Now, other than the whales, that is great foreshadowing element for the series. But for like Jedi Survivor, there are like no links whatsoever. But bear in mind, they are completely different time periods. This is like taking place, I think, just before. I think it's like just in between the Bad Batch period. Yeah, and I don't think I can say enough about what I want, because I want Ahsoka back in the Star Wars universe, so I can't wait for that series. Like, I liked her in Clone Wars. She's a great character. I liked her in Tales of the Jedi. Now that she's getting her own series, like hell yeah. But and also I'm like really excited for that game. Very excited. So yeah. Now, are we on fan theories? Oh no, right. What will happen in season 4? Depending on plot lines of Ahsoka, there is the possibility that Ahsoka seeks help from the Mandalorian, because I feel like the tension between Thrawn will not end in that series. And in season 4, just have like Moff Gideon and Thrawn against Ahsoka and Mandalorian. I'd basically not leave my room for like a week if that series was there. Yeah, that would be great. And if Thrawn goes to war on Mandalore, that would be the best series ever. Especially if he teams up with Moff Gideon. I will praise Lucasfilm if they do that. I mean, it is just an idea where Thrawn and Moff Gideon work together with a slight bit of tension. I think Thrawn was mentioned in this series at some point, but and Ahsoka and Mando are good friends. So, and if Moff Gideon and Thrawn just go like, "Hey, do you want to take over Mandalore?" Moff Gideon's like, "Yeah, sure now." And then, yeah, honestly, I'd sit and watch that series. There's no doubt in my mind about that. Now, fan theory, okay. Right on. No, thank you. Din Djarin seems to not like the idea of Jedis, more than likely due to the fact that the history against the Jedi. Okay. From this, we may see a fight between Luke and Din Djarin for the custody of Grogu. Okay, well, I'm sorry there, but Din Djarin would win. Just a snipe to the head is all it he has to. Actually, I'm going to say Luke on that one. Right. The clones we see of Moff Gideon were the introduction to Snoke cloning, and this is why they had to take the blood of Grogu to be able to conduct these experiments. This also was the start of the rise of Palpatine, which fast approached due to the timing of the series. That's not a theory, that's just a fact. that's fact, not theory. Right, in the series, the Mandalorians are ambushed to ambushed due to there being a rat in the group, and I think it was the Armorer. Yeah, not the only one thinking that, lad. She's very mysterious, and I think that she has a lot to hide, and she has some sort of grudge against Mando. So this is probably her way of getting back at him, but undercover. The first one I just think is unlikely. The second one's just fact. It's not even like a theory. The third one is just, again, mainly a fact. I mean, you have good merit, but like still. Right. Well, everyone, that'll be the end of today's video. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you enjoyed this series. You can go and watch it on Disney Plus. And yeah, this week we'll have the drop of the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 predictions video, and then soon approaching a review. Other than that, everyone, I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!